Morning everyone, in this video I'm going to be analysing the live price action for EU and DXY to see what opportunities may be available today. You're going to see my strategy and my analysis, so if you're interested in those then please stick around. Right, starting off on a daily, we have EU on the top, DXY on the bottom. Now what do we see on the daily? Well, on the Friday you can see we've closed out as this bullish doji, right? Wicks on both sides, taking buy side and sell side liquidity. So we'll see more into that story on the lower time frame. Price did show that there's possibly some kind of bearish indication internally because we made this internal lower high, lower low, which obviously we'll see on the lower time frame again. So the daily doesn't say much in terms of direction, but we still have that indication, right, that we may head lower in price. There's no daily POIs immediately here anymore. There's an order block possibly down here we may get drawn into. But we'll see how price goes from this area, whether this bullish momentum will keep or that indication of bearish prices will continue. On our inverse DXY, it's similar. The higher high wasn't as clear, but it's still present there. We pull back, we've got our bearish pullback, our bearish doji here where we've taken sell side liquidity clearly last. And otherwise our previous daily highs and lows and previous weekly highs and lows are intact at the moment for buy side and sell side liquidity targets. So not loads to go on with the daily high time frame. We've still got our POIs that I've been drawing up from previous weeks. Price is just here in this premium at the moment. So in saying that, let's go down to the 4 hour and see what that shows us. So here on the 4 hour, immediately what I'd want to point out is we're still working within two legs, right? We have our bullish leg, which is still intact, right? Where we took that sell side liquidity, broke up, made a new high. Since then, we've done our pullbacks, right? With our lower highs, lower lows, lower highs and whatnot, lower lows. We mitigated this 4 hour POI down here, and that's where we've had that bullish reaction from that we've seen on the daily. We have the potential from this 4 hour POI now to continue to go on and break this high and this high, because if we ignore this price action in the middle here, we see this as a lower high, lower low into this 4 hour POI, we're still within this bullish leg. So if this bullish 4 hour leg POI is holding, that means this is a weak high. So we've had that bullish momentum from here. We could pull back internally here, but we may hold this 4 hour order block, for example, to continue pulling higher. So the picture's not super clear in the sense that yes, we have this bearish internal leg, we've pulled back, at the moment it's a lower high, so it's not confirmed yet we're going to continue bullish like I was saying on the daily. But we also have that narrative for both, because this is still the external leg, this is still its OB, which has been mitigated, and we've come bullish off of that. So until this fails, I wouldn't see this low here as failing just yet. So bullish leg still intact, we still may have bullish price action. Now this high here hasn't failed yet to show that we are going to continue higher. So we have to keep in mind both scenarios, of course. So a bit of a mixed picture there, but you can argue for both sides for bullish and bearish price action. For me, I believe temporary bearish price action to consider until we come possibly into the discount of this new internal leg, because we still have our 4 hour POI here. We mitigated this 4 hour imbalance and had a new bullish push higher. We did leave behind some imbalances, so we never know where price is going to go, but at the moment this leg here still may produce some more bullish price action. However, we are internal to this bearish leg, so we may pull down. So I would think some sort of short-term bearishness at least. And it's the same on our inverse here on DXY. Here's our external bearish leg. We pulled back, we made this slight higher high here, and we have pulled back down towards here. So it's the exact same story. So DXY and EU agree in both, just to consider, I think, both ways. Again, we have some imbalance up here that may attract some bullish DXY in the short term. We left behind, two imbalances, so we could pull back a bit bullish in the short term before continuing lower. So the even lower time frames like the 1 hour and 15 minute may show us some more and more intention as to the direction of price. We only really care about the day and the sessions. So let's go down to the 1 hour, see what that's showing us for today. So I hope that 4 hour price action wasn't too confusing. Here on the 1 hour, again, we have that overall bearish leg here. But as you can see, from this 4 hour POI, we've made this high, high, low, high, high, and we're within this internal bullish leg here. So we have an internal bullish leg on the 1 hour since coming from this 4 hour POI in that external bullish leg. So like I said, there is still bullish potential, but we may have some sort of short-term bearish potential. And we can see that here because we have this bullish leg. We are pretty much in the premium of that, right? But we have a discount POI. So that is also a draw on price. That would be a good place if we was to continue bullish from. We also have that same POI here on the hourly on DXY. Price, of course, has come back down. It does look like it may be pulling somewhat towards these imbalances and order blocks. So that's definitely an option. So maybe some short-term bearishness. We might have some short-term bullishness to fill this first and then pull back, or we could continue from here. But we have price draws on either side. So we can trade either way at the moment, but we may need some buy-side liquidity first to sponsor that move down, or we may get the move down first. Right, so we have to keep an eye on these lower time frames to see that, but we're working within this bullish internal leg. So again, I hope that's not confusing. Just let me know in the comments if you need anything clarified. We have our bearish leg, as I said, here on DXY, and we look like we may be pulling back, being attracted towards that premium. At the moment, we're getting a strong bearish push, you can see on the hourly candle. We have left equal highs up here, bit suspect. May get targeted later, right where that imbalance is, but we don't have to take that imbalance now. These equal highs and imbalance can be something that price takes at a later date. So just to reiterate on the hourly, we have a more recent bullish leg. We're pretty much in a premium. We have a price draw in the discount, and we have a price draw just above price as well here, a bit more into the premium with buy side liquidity resting there. So I believe we have some good POIs to work with. We may have to be patient for. We may need to be patient for, the sell side liquidity here to get taken before coming up to this 1 hour here, or some internal sell side liquidity. Good area to buy from, good area to look for sales from. So I think that's what's most important. We're resting buy side liquidity here with a POI, and we have a discount POI in a bullish leg below here on the 1 hour. And we have those same POIs here on DXY. So let's go down to the M15 and see what opportunities we may have for today. As you can see here on the M15, we have our overnight price action and we have our Asia range. You can see where I've drawn out a possible trade for this morning, which I've decided not to take. I'll explain that shortly. I'll explain that on the M5 just so it's a bit clearer. So we had this range made in Asia, which left some buy side liquidity trend line. All right, we've got our imbalance left above Asia here, and you can see Frankfurt swept Asia and had a bullish push to the other side, leaving those equal highs. Now equal highs are usually targeted, especially when they're exact equals. They're exact on my broker, so it was a good target. However, we had SMC divergence where DXY came from the other side of Asia, didn't quite take it but went all the way to the top. Now on DXY we did not come anywhere near the other side of Asia here, so I was a bit suspect of that, which contributed to why I didn't make that trade. So let me discuss that opportunity a bit more in detail. We had a clear M5 break of structure. We had swept Asia lows in Frankfurt open and had a good bullish momentum to the other side. Now I wanted more of an immediate pullback from around this area. Then we could have targeted those highs. I would have probably have taken that. We had a good breaker structure on DXY, but again, as I said, we had that SMC divergence. We wasn't in sync at all because we came all the way to this high here on EU and we didn't on DXY. It was still tempting because of these equal highs. Usually they get ran, but I just didn't like how far apart they were. Right, so this was the danger, right? Price pulling down for more sell side liquidity and us getting swept. Now I had to get out of my head a little for this opportunity. The M15, the breaker structure looked quite clear as well. We closed out as a nice sweep as well, and it looked obvious to run for all of this, but the buy side liquidity above all these highs were pretty much taken, and we were in a premium, so I didn't like it. And then if I go back up to the hourly for a moment, that's that sell side liquidity draw here. The way the price already ran for these highs and it looked like it was in a pullback phase. So I thought, do you know what? I'll give it a miss and I'll see what the order flow does. So yeah, stayed out of that one. It didn't feel right, and there were those negatives, especially with that SMC and how much buy side liquidity we had taken above these highs. It weren't like we came from any high time frame POI as well. So though these were here on price draws, we were already in that premium. I thought price may pull down a little bit, but we'll see where price goes. Glad I didn't take part, would have been a quick loss, and that was avoided. So back to the M15, where do we go from here? So like I was saying on the higher time frames, I believe this point up here is a good place to look for shorts with these equal highs as inducement and buy side liquidity sponsorship. Right, again, we was just in the middle of price here. So even though we was taking Asia lows, targeting Asia highs, we were still just in a bit of an equilibrium and premium where price is just going sideways. So I'd rather wait for some more order flow for today. So I'll look at a short opportunity, which could happen from here if you know this is enough buy side liquidity now from DXY and sell side liquidity from EU to drive up into this POI. I would want price to come up into this POI, break down, possibly there's some sort of low around here, and then we pull back to this low time frame order block and imbalance to go short from. Of course, that would mean we've taken buy side liquidity above these equal highs. So equal highs mitigated for buy side liquidity, 1 hour POI, break of structure possibly around here or somewhere. Maybe it will happen lower, but either way, same shape. Buy side liquidity, break of structure, possible pullback with inducement, lower time frame, order block and imbalance. Set our order from stop loss just above the high to target wherever we need to target. So I think that is great. And any continuation from this, if you don't get within this trade or it looks a bit too risky because there's more imbalance to fill, once that order flow continues, when you get that second break of structure, we may get another order block or imbalance to continue off from downwards. Now the second opportunity I would look for is the buys down here. If this area down here holds and looks like it's going to hold, we may come down in price, mitigate this 1 hour order block, and then break of structure, pull back to go higher. So we'll have our POI, break of structure, possible pullback with inducement, low time frame order block, and then order here, stop loss just below lows to go from there. So using this discount, using this POI, which of course we have the same POI here on DXY, so they would sync up, hopefully, something like that around here, waiting for this 1 hour POI to hold and switch structure. That would be the most optimal. I think this also looks good because we'll have that buy side liquidity as well. So if we do come and take this, I'd look for those shorts happily, as long as we get the close out that we want to, a nice high test or something, break of structure. Longs may happen from down here. We may take this sell side liquidity and wick up and change direction, but we'll see. Of course, there's some news to be wary of because PMI and loads of news announcements this week. So I hope that was clear. I hope you gained value from that. Any questions, let me know in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.